How's everybody doing? Yeah, we're a bit late. You're probably like, I'm tired of this guy showing up late all the time. I put out time and I was going to be there and it's late again. Well, don't worry. That's why we record these, right? That's why we keep them up. So that way you can show back up if you want to later on. I know there's people that probably like to show up because they want to ask questions, all that good stuff. I understand. But I got priorities too. So I'm gonna be late sometimes. It is what it is. I try my best to be respectful of your guys' time, but obviously I'm gonna be late sometimes. Like a detox from all the noise. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's interesting. It's very interesting. Seeing a lot of things on the timeline with Twitter, seeing people still chasing hype or trying to at least. And again, I think people just got to kind of dial in slowly, right? And then kind of take it a day at a time. That's what you got to do right now. It's not really the time to get super hyped up. You see hype plays, don't chase them. Just kind of stay slow and steady at the moment. I think that's going to be the best way to approach this market at the moment until the market can prove what it wants to do. We do have to be kind of careful though with tariffs, all that stuff like that. So I will put that out there, right? I'm not going to be, and I've told you guys this many times. I'm never going to be that hopium person, versus the reality person. So we have to always keep these things in the back of our mind as potentials. Really, I didn't really see tariffs as a real threat until the ones that got placed today. I don't even think they're really a threat, to be honest with you. I really don't. But it's something good to keep in the back of your mind just in case. But if it's not, then that's great. If it is, then we'll F around and find out at some point, right? FAFO. FAFO. The tricky part is like if it becomes a real threat, it will lead to a recession. I don't think we'll push it that far. And when I say we, I mean obviously the White House, but there's always that potential that it could get there. Those things are kind of tricky, and a lot of people don't really understand, how those things come to fruition, but they could definitely, become a real thing at some point if you're not careful. So you just got to be kind of cautious right now. Don't throw, I would say don't throw your worries to the wind. Be kind of defensive and offensive at the same time right now. You got to be kind of market neutral. You got to be flexible. You got to be fluid. And you got to be able to move with this market. So right now, I think like what a good thing to do right now, at least at the moment, is to build towards your long-term port, right? And then when the hype starts to come back a little bit, and I don't mean like these celebrity coins that are launching and stuff like that. I mean like the real hype starts to come back. You can start then at that point dabbling a little bit and playing around if you want to. Throw some craps in a corner if you want to. But for now, we got to protect capital, right? So protecting capital. I'm not bearish, obviously. That's why I am talking about buying. That's why I'm still talking about investing, because I'm not bearish on the market. I'm pretty good. Obviously, at some point I'll miss, but I'm pretty good at being able to identify these bear markets when they come into crypto. And it's basically at the 4-year cycle. From what I've seen, if that changes, it changes. We'll find out, right? We'll find out. 2026, we'll find out if that's the case. All I think that's going to happen right now is we're going to end up in that situation I discussed before with Bitcoin, where we're just going to kind of play sideways into that that monthly play out that we've discussed before, where bottom in August, and then maybe bottom again in August. We'll see, right? August being right there, so that'll give us a few more months of accumulation. But the one thing I will say though too, that looks really good for markets, at least at the moment, is I think that Bitcoin looks really healthy, right? We're still above the high here, and we're still kind of playing up here. Doesn't mean we can't come back down a little further, right? We can come down a little further if they really want to, push us into like 75K ish if the market really intends to push us that deep. But we've talked about structure a few times. I don't know why that pops up every time. And I feel like just looking at structure and breaking this down, it's like I have no reason to be bearish. There's no real reason at the moment that I can see to be bearish, right? We don't have any bearish signals that I could see as far as markets go. Everything's kind of playing out as it was. I mean, right here is your ADA play. Again, higher, low, higher, low, higher, low structure. Bitcoin, higher, low, higher, low, higher, low structure. You did get a higher, low, and a pullback into the previous low here on SUI, but you are, again, higher, low structure. But if we were to go into something with risk right at the moment, and this is why you got to kind of be cautious with risk, at least for now, until risk starts to kind of pop up a little bit, is risk kind of took a dump and broke its higher low structure and pushed into previous ranges. So with that being said, risk is kind of taking a back seat, at least at the moment. So could you find deals? For sure, but you have to be cautious with the market in the aspect of risk, especially based off of previous liquidity zones. And keep in mind, this low could, potentially not even be the low. Maybe this right here is more like the low. The retap. Again, we've talked about this before, where it's kind of showing that it's tapping liquidity. The one thing you don't want to see is you don't want to see a collapse and go like this and then roll deeper, right? And this is Pepe I'm using as kind of like a market metric on risk and where the market is feeling out risk, what it thinks about risk. I think this is a good one to kind of pay attention to specifically. Now, some people will say, keep in mind, some people will say they'll come in and they'll be like, oh, well, Pepe's old, Pepe this, Pepe that. No. This is a cycle leader when it comes to memes. And if this one starts to collapse, I would say a lot of these will start to collapse. I'm not trying to really get into meme coins specifically too deep, because I do have like a lot of really good things I want to throw out there for you guys, and maybe even find some gems with you live on the stream. But, as of right now, this is kind of where we're at, right? Market's still in a hefty uptrend. Lots of altcoins are still in a hefty uptrend. Meme coins and culture coins, whatever you want to call them, they're in a downtrend right now. And so you have to be kind of cautious with these specifically. Let them play out. There's some that are likely already down in these ranges. If you're still bullish on meme coins, I wouldn't be buying anything that hasn't at least collapsed. And I know some of you would be like, well, if it's collapsed, it's probably dead. Yeah, but your downside mitigation here is much better than your downside mitigation here if this does collapse, right? If meme coins altogether start collapsing and you start to see money flow move into like what we're seeing, move into fundamental coins and Bitcoin, then, at that point, you're just going to lose a bunch of money. Take that with, a grain of salt. Take it with, how you will. It's just my 2 cents right now, the way I'm seeing this market. Do I think there's opportunity potentially in the culture coin space? Sure. I'm still holding some bags in there, and we'll see if they come back. But if I were to dabble, you don't have to put a lot in right now to get a lot if you expect it to go back up. I would put it that way. DXY is dying after Trump's inauguration, just like it did before 2017 cycle. Huh. I mean, as far as DXY, that's a tricky one. I'm pretty dang good on DXY. I will tell you that. I've been really good at catching the lows and everything. But I mean, here's the W formation of the lows of last cycle. Here's the 2020 low, right? And then you kind of hang out here around going into 2021, and you hang out like right in here, right? My thoughts were with DXY is we roll back into this range, and then you could already see I already had it drawn out, but roll back into this range. And once we start to get back into this range, we can then send, right? We can then send. So we'll see if dollar ends up kind of giving that to us. Again, it's a very similar move. Here, the W almost equaled the high, came back down. Here, it broke out. It came back up. Didn't quite make the high, but looks like it's starting to collapse now. And if we can see it continue to push down into the low here, I think at that point, you can create the next W formation low, and you'll see the dollar bounce, and then you'll see some kind of really what I think is going to be a collapse of the dollar. To be honest with you, I think the dollar is going to collapse in the next likely next couple of years. To be honest with you, yeah, it's at support. Well, here's the thing: it's at support here, but this is the real support right here. That's your real support. This is your monthly support. I mean, this is so obvious of a support. It's not even funny. You can see it right here. And you're starting to see the dollar start to get, again, collapse. And another indication of that, too, is oil, right? Oil is another good indicator of that. And that's something else I've talked about before also. I wonder where this was at. Yeah, this, I mean, look at this. Can't make this shit up, man. Cannot make this up. Let me duplicate this. Actually, no, I'll just move it to oil. It's fine. US oil. Here we go. All right. So oil is another one too I'm watching. Looks like it's ready to collapse also. No, that was Mog. That was Mog. Yeah, that was Mog. That wasn't Pepe. But nah, so this is the tricky one, right? And this is why, like, when people are sitting there talking about inflation, it's like, how is inflation a possibility when oil looks like it's literally about to collapse? Oil continues to get crushed and crushed and crushed. Again, lower high after lower high after lower high after lower high, and you're pushing into a support. You're going to get squeezed out the bottom. You're going to get squeezed out the bottom. It's going to collapse like in a big way too. It looks like oil's literally the bottom is about to fall out of this shit right here, like one of those. Now, keep in mind, if we look at the date here, this was 2020, right? This is 2020, and that was 2021. Don't shoot the messenger. Don't shoot the messenger. Your top was somewhere around here, right? Your top was somewhere around there. If oil collapses, I think like maybe this level, right? There could be a potential you hit somewhere right here too. But I think once you start to see this collapse, you start bidding, right? You start bidding. Heavy risk. If you get a collapse on oil. So that's kind of my game plan for now, is if we can get a collapse on oil, I could start really digging into risk, high risk. Because I would expect that if we get that oil collapse, we can get a big boom market. Well, obviously, we'll get a market that'll exceed. It'll top somewhere around the mid-range once it gets back up here. And then you can see right here how we got back up to here. And then what happened? All the way through here, right? All the way through this support range and up. This support range and up was your bear market. So if that was your bear market, obviously coming back down all the way back up to here is your bull market, and then that'll be your bear market again, right? That'll be your bear market again. And we can see over here, anytime we've gotten up to these, relative ranges, it's not really been a great thing for the market. Now, keep in mind also, this is your 2008 crash, right? That's your 2008 crash. We're just not collapsing like that. But I do think there's a collapse event potentially going to happen here with oil, right? Something like this. So we do have to be kind of cautious with risk for now. That's what I would tell you all, is be cautious with risk for now. I think you can buy things that are solid, Nike, Bitcoin, Ethereum. I can go on for days with just different stocks and crypto that I think will be sound even in a big dip like this. But I think there's a big liquidity event coming based on this chart. I mean, here's the other collapse right here. Keep in mind, every time oil does one of these, it doesn't last forever. It doesn't last forever. Like, this was really freaking fast, right? Collapse and then breakout. This one right here took a little bit longer, and this one right here took a couple months, right, to get down to these ranges and then back up. This is what a lot of people are anticipating, I think, at the moment, is some kind of big collapse event in oil. And if oil collapses, you're going to get a big liquidity event that you can buy up assets for really cheap. Really cheap. But you have to really be able to start taking risk when that starts occurring. So when you get this drawdown, just start buying, buy. That's what I'm going to be doing. That's my game plan. This is why I said like slow and steady. I'm still DCA'd into the market too, even though I think that this is a possibility of something that could happen. So you got one event, two events, and you got a third getting ready to potentially happen here. Actually, got a fourth. So you got 1, 2, 3. This is 08. So if we were to put here's a good indication. Let me give you guys this. This will help you guys kind of visually see what I'm talking about. I'll put SPX down here, and I'll show you kind of what happened in each one of those ranges. Okay, so where are we at? Monthly. Get rid of all this crap. I mean, we're hitting on the head there, but get rid of that. We'll look at it like this, monthly, right? And we'll look at each one of these events. So this is oil getting ready to spill. Right here. Yeah, right about in there. Goes over there. I think I have May marked out though. We'll go with August. So somewhere's in there was your first event. And then somewhere's over here, your second event. Now keep in mind, this wasn't much of an event, right? You had a little bit of drawdown. And then you win again. And then over here was your third event. And this is why you have to be cautious, because you could end up in one of these scenarios, which means it just gets a little rocky and then, continues pushing higher. So this is your third event right here. And it's almost lined up perfectly right in here. And realistically, let me get these lined back up. So this is February. So realistically, this is kind of like your lineup, right? And that's down near the bottom of oil right there. So yeah, you'd have to be somewhere like over here, and you still kind of peak and you roll a little bit, but then you still run. So realistically, if I were to take a look at this and I were to try to understand this, this was bad, right? Right here. This never mattered. And this is why you got to be cautious with trying to be overly bearish and try to be smarter than the market. A lot of people don't understand how that works, right? This never mattered. And then this was too fast for anybody to buy. Why do I say it was too fast for anybody to buy? Does that mean that nobody could have bought here, or what do you think likely happened here? Just out of curiosity. Does anybody know? Well, I can tell you this. What happened here is the market collapsed. A lot of people thought that it was going to keep collapsing, and so they waited, and then the market reversed before they even got a chance to buy anything. This is why you have to be cautious with how you approach this market. This is an 08 event. Lots of time to get in. Lots of time to bid down, right? This wasn't even enough drawdown to even worry about. So it technically never mattered in my eyes. This drop happened too fast, basically in a month, and recovered back the next month. So nobody really got a chance to bid the low. And a lot of people were still scared that this was going to roll again. And so they waited and or sold, and the market pushed back up. I'm giving you different scenarios so you can kind of understand how and why you should ignore a lot of the noise. because 2 out of 3 of these didn't ever matter. Why didn't this one matter? Because nobody was going to buy that. Everybody's too scared. Why didn't this one matter? Because the drawdown was so little. It was tiny. The market barely even pulled back on this, right? Do I think there's potential for oil to collapse? 100% I think there is. But do I think that people will bid that price? No. This is a 10% pullback. And then right here, this would have been the time to sit and wait. This would have been the time to sit and wait. So if you were buying down, the market kept punishing you for buying down. And so you had 3 different scenarios play out and 3 different liquidity events. And people are continuing to act like they know how to approach this. There's no real perfect way to approach any type of liquidity event. What's the best way to approach a liquidity event? What would be anybody's opinion on the stream's best way to approach a liquidity event? Tell me your best way that you think there is to approach a liquidity event. Yeah, I mean, people keep calling the tops, bro. The best way to approach a liquidity event is slow DCA. It's slow DCA because a liquidity event is not a bear market. It's not a bear market. What is it? It's a flash crash. It's a crash that happens faster than you can probably think about it, probably faster than you'll be able to evaluate it, and it'll be to such a degree that you wouldn't even get an entry really. So the best way to approach this, and I'm telling you, okay, if I had, I'll just throw an arbitrage number. If I have $5,000 sitting here, would I go and try and spend that whole $5,000 in the market this week? Likely not. What would I be doing? I'd probably be breaking it up, right? $1,000 this week, $1,000 next week, $1,000 the next week, $1,000 the next week, $1,000 the next week. Into what? Into good long-term plays. For now, right? Until you get a liquidity event. And once you get that liquidity event, then I would be like, okay, now I can start risking. I can start jumping into risk and playing risk. Right now, I'm telling people to be smarter. Be smarter right now. This is not the time to be risky. It's the time to be smarter. And the smarter investor right now is going to be in the middle, neutral, play this market by ear, let it kind of run out. If we end up in a recession, by the time they tell us a recession, what will likely have already happened? Think about it. Think about it. When they tell you you're in a recession, you're likely coming to the end of the recession. Not the beginning, not the middle, towards the end. This is why, like, the government makes no sense. It literally makes no sense. They can't tell you when they're in a recession, and they'll only tell you when they think you're in, or they can't tell you at the beginning of when they think a recession is coming. They can only tell you when they know they're in a recession. And typically when they know they're in a recession, the signals have already flashed, the crash has already happened, and things have already burned, which means that you don't get a chance for entry. You're likely already speedily recovering from the low by the time they tell you, oh, we were in a recession. Most of the times when the Fed has announced a recession, the recession that they announced was we were in a recession. Were. A year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, after the market recovers. Because why? Because they're very hindsight when it comes to recessions. Very hindsight. They can never bid those or predict them. They're just not good at it. They're not good at predicting the recession ahead of time. And why am I talking about recession? Why am I even talking about this? I'm talking about this because if tariffs end up going sideways, that's what it would lead to, right? If they don't go sideways and, somehow Trump pulls this off as 4D chess play, then in that scenario, everything's going to be bullish. Everything's going to be bullish. But, looking at things here and kind of putting 2 and 2 together and showing you all, here live, these oil collapse events can lead to prices quickly, sharply moving, and then shifting back immediately. So again, I'm not bearish to the point of a bear market, which means I continue to buy. I'm bearish to the point of a flash crash potentially, but not bearish to the point of a bear market. Am I mid to long-term bullish? Yes. I think potentially the way Bitcoin sense and what we've discussed with Bitcoin specifically, looking at the time frame, again, if we go back through and we do the math, you got August, August, August. I can mark them all out, right? And we've got August. And again, we've got August and we've got August. We got 3 out of 10 plays here, or 2 out of 3 here that have hit this August low and bounced. And so my anticipation is, at least for now, is to kind of bid into things until August comes. If we don't see a rally out of August, September, September would likely be the rally range, or at least where we should start to recover. October, November, December, you're cooked. You're going into a bear market next year, regardless, in my opinion. But I do think that there's high potential that we'll see one more leg up going into August. And so I'm playing the market as such. I'm playing for that high potential move back up. But I think there's going to be a wash event in 2026. I do think there's going to be a wash event. On Friday, do I think we hit new all-time highs this month? I don't. I think the whole Bitcoin reserve thing is overplayed. I think there should have been a better strategic way to announce that, but it's been talked about multiple times by the president and hasn't moved price. It's been talked about multiple times in the space, hasn't moved price. I don't think that those things are what affects price. I think price affects price. And so even if they discuss strategic reserve, what does that mean? Are they buying right now or are they not buying right now? That's the question that would be on everybody's mind. Oh, no, I'm not trying to scare you because I'm still buying. I'm telling you guys literally right here, I'm still actively buying. I'm still buying stocks. I'm still buying crypto. I'm just staying away from the scammy shit right now because the scammy shit doesn't bid. Everything scammy goes to zero at this point, and it just is what it is. So just stay away from the scammy stuff. If you're already in meme coins, I'm just holding them. I'm not selling them at a loss, that's for sure. But as far as buying new stuff, here, let me give you guys an example. Like this, everybody in the space was, oh, blah, 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 blah. Give it 1 week. Give it 1 week, and you know what this will look like? It'll look like this. Hate it if you want. Hate it if you want. But facts don't care about your feelings. Give it about a week. It'll look like this. Give it a week. It'll look like that. All these coins are going to be looking like this. Yep. Same thing. Look, I'm just going to, it is what it is. People can be upset about it. Boom. I don't know if they rugged. Everything's absolutely Shrek'd right now. Is there anything out? I mean, the strongest coin out there right now that I can see is Pepe and Mog. Everything else is absolutely, and even Mog, right? Even Mog is slowly but surely getting Shrek'd. It's just taking a lot longer with this one. I mean, you're already back down to here at this point. Like, where does the blood stop? Where does it stop? It's wild, man. Brett, I mean, we take a look at that too. Shit, I don't care. Like at this point, there's no shilling on here, by the way. I'm not showing any of this shit. I'm just showing you guys what is actually going on right now. This Brett, is this the one on base? I believe it is. So it's kind of wild right now the way the market's been, man. It's been a PvP market. is what it is, right? Nothing to be upset about. We all played the game. So we'll end up seeing how it plays out in the end. Maybe some of it will, maybe some of it won't. Oh, you were talking about the arrow on Pepe? No, I was talking about a scenario with Pepe when I was discussing Pepe. I wasn't saying like that's definitively where Pepe was going. My thought is with Pepe is that this level likely holds, and we can see we already dipped down into it. Shit, when did that happen? I don't remember that. I must have missed that because this was the next level I was looking at, and I was like, we're likely coming out in a year. This is kind of your line in the sand though with this one, man. It's gonna get a little tricky. It's gonna get a little tricky if we go below this level. I will say that you don't want to see means go below 2.67. All right, you do not want to. If you see Pepe go below 2.72 bill, man, it was a fun ride with mean coins. Doesn't mean the rest of the market's good because I don't think the rest of the market is good. I think ADA's holding up well. Another interesting one here is ETH. ETH is definitely an interesting one. This one's holding up pretty well too. So it is what it is. Coinbase is doing what I said it would do right over here. Just showing you right there. Sui's holding up well. I'm good with that. I like that tag. That's what I wanted to see. Palantir, PLTR right here. PLTR, it's kind of weird. I think this is going to be a swing fail. I'm not going to lie. I think PLTR is topped, and I'll tell you why definitively. You got a monthly reverse hammer here. This is a reverse hammer. This looks like it's kind of topped. I would say at least sideways. Right? I would say at least sideways, but this is a reverse hammer. So you have to be kind of careful with that one. That one's a really heavy indicator. I think Lucid looks really solid. Again, just holding the lows, high volume. We talked about this, right? That one looks really good. This one, I think it might be bottomed fastly, but I'm continuing to watch that one. It's not something I'm really that interested in. Right here, it's kind of showing either we sweep or we roll. It looks like we're going to roll on this one on Cloudflare. This would be your high. If you're going to roll into it, you'll hit this other liquidity range. IWM's looking pretty weak, but I think like you'll bounce around 199, 200. You already see what I got there. I'm not trying to be bearish, guys. Like I'm very bullish on the market overall. I just think it's going to take time, and I think people are not patient enough, right? I think people are not patient enough right now. And if you're not patient enough, you're not here to make money. You're here to be exit liquidity. That's what you are. And I'm not trying to say that in any mean way whatsoever, but it is what it is, I don't make the rules. SPX, I mean, we could look at it on the daily and be like, oh, it's bearish. But I mean, like, look at this shit on the monthly. What are we bearish about? You're basically playing the lows. I guess you could kind of dip into something like this or something. There's really not a lot there. It does this a lot. And it doesn't really give a lot, right? I mean, your drawdown here is 10%. So what are people expecting? Another 10% drawdown up here? That puts you at like 5,500. Who cares? Who cares about $5,500 SPY? I don't care. Cardano looks really good, right? Again, just higher low structure. This is something I keep on pointing out to people, and they keep on not wanting to look at it. But like, it's right there in their face. The higher low structure is right there in your face. It looks good. You had the VIX spike. Looks like it might be cooling down, but I think it's going to rip sooner or later because your trend is going like this, right? For VIX, I think it's going to boom and then break, right? It doesn't have to necessarily go higher than the previous ones. We could maybe look at it like this, right? Tap out somewhere around here. if they really want to push it. And then you get crushed again. That would just be a fast liquidity event if that were to occur. Yeah, that's the thing. Like it's almost like they are purposely trying to shake people up. And I know how this shit goes. It gets boring, so I just do it. When it gets boring, I do boring things. What is boring things? I buy stocks and shit that I really had no interest in, to be honest with you. But I know that, long term, holding these things makes sense. So I still buy them and hold them. I add more to my long term port than I do to my short term port, my trading port. So what does that mean? That means that like I'm buying more now on the side where I'm holding stuff for years than on the side where I'm trying to flip it for this cycle. So I'm now buying Nike and other shit that I don't really care about because I know it's just a dividend play. That's, some returns. Baba looks absolutely phenomenal. This thing looks strong as hell. It looks really good. Workhorse just continuing to get crushed. Nothing to see there. Yeah, so let's kind of run through some stuff. Like I wanted to kind of go through this evening too. This is another thing I wanted to kind of talk about. But I was kind of poking at this today. And I was like, how can I utilize this? What's a good way to utilize this? And I, before I could really think about it, I was just like, oh, okay, let's try and run this. Let's run some technicals. So you may or may not know this area right here. It's at the bottom of your trading view. You just kind of pull it up there, right? You pull it up, and then you get screeners. You get stock screeners and you get crypto screeners. I know I've talked about this in the past a little bit, but let's kind of run through it a little bit. Let's kind of look at some things. So one thing I was kind of poking around with today was this one, right? And I was saying, okay, what is the difference between these and how can I use them? So all of these have value. All of these have value in different ways. So we're going to kind of run through that, how you can extract that value. Strong buy, right? So when you look at strong buy, you can kind of see, okay, what's your percentage up and what's your strong buy look like on each one of these. You don't want something that's like up significantly with a strong buy signal. And I'll show you some of that on crypto because it looks absolutely obnoxious. But what you want to look for is you want to look for stocks that have this strong buy indicator. What is this indicator made from? It's made from moving averages. So this is a good way you can kind of get a look at different markets and be like, all right, I have a strong buy on the stock. What is this stock? I don't know. What is it? Well, if you're trying to figure out what it is, you'll notice that each one of these stocks have what? They have their sectors built into them. So this is actually a really good indicator, man. Like, and again, don't just look at the strong buys. I'm going to show you how to use the other ones too. But this gives you a good indicator of what you're looking at. And so obviously Berkshire and Hathaway is a finance sector. So if you're looking to get exposure to the finance sector, this is a strong buy stock in the finance sector that you can likely buy on Robinhood, which means you don't have to buy a whole one, based on the price, because it's $746,940 per share. You can buy a fraction of a stock through Robinhood if you wanted to utilize that platform to do it. LLY, right? Eli Lilly Company. What is it? It's health technology. So rather than having to siphon through some bullshit that somebody else wrote, Yahoo Finance or anything else, you can come through here and find the most bullish areas of each sector, right? The most bullish areas of each sector. And you don't want to see anything that's up significantly. You want to see something that's kind of peaking a little bit or kind of trading sideways at the lows. Like you're looking for stuff more in that ballpark than you are something that's kind of been rising and rising and rising. Although in stock markets, you can kind of follow the trend, unlike in crypto, right? Crypto, you don't want to chase green candles. Sometimes you can in stocks. But sometimes stocks just take longer to move. And then we come here to AMG. Again, health. What are we noticing here? What's the trend? What's the trend on these top 10? Which one of these is the most, which sector is looking to be the most bullish on the top 10? It's healthcare. It's health technology right now. That seems to be the trend that's the most bullish. What else are we seeing? Well, we're seeing some light, obviously, process industries, consumers, non-durables. Damn, I already got that one charted out. What's going on with that? Okay. Retail trade, CVS, right? That's CVS. CVS looks pretty good. And you got a strong buy indicator. You're up from 47, and likely 47 is likely your low, right? I mean, based off looking at where price has been since like 99, likely you're at your low for CVS. SEC Limited, right? I mean, looks good, but I'm not buying into that. Not happening. Technology services and so on and so forth. So basically, you can come through here and you can find different trades that AutoZone really, bruh. What? Car industry 101. You can find different sectors that you may or may not be interested in, or may or may not have known existed, right? Then you got finance again, produce manufacturing. This is always a good one. Technology service. Apparently, I already had this one charted out too, and it's already moving. Look at that. Take Two Interactive. Yes, I might actually get some of that. I might actually, yeah, I think I'll bid that. Finance, consumer. And this is what I mean by like you are getting areas that are really good bids. Like even Warner Bros. I know some of you might be like, I don't buy Warner Bros. That's a really good level. It's a really good level on Warner Bros. Now, again, I'm talking specifically on what? On long term, right? If you think some of these companies are washed up, don't buy them. Don't buy them. Buy the new shit. Buy the shiny shit. Buy the low caps, right? That's another one too. But this is basically how you can use the strong buy indicator. And obviously, you don't want to buy anything that's up like this. You want to buy shit that's like down or moving sideways. I mean, look, what is this? What is this? Is a crypto pump? Space Mobile win. This one looks pretty good, right? This one looks actually, I like this one. Let's see what this looks like. Monthly. Dang. Okay. Yeah. That's kind of a crazy chart, though. You got kind of like this going on here. So it's a little tricky. That one's a little tricky. Maybe not. I don't really like that. Anyways, that's how you can use that. Now let's go into the other indicators, because you may think that the only thing you can really buy off is strong buy, right? No. You can go off a buy, which will put things that are just starting to get into that bid range, right? From the perspective of the EMAs. Oh my God, everything here looks super bullish on buy. What is going on? God. And like people are scared. Look at this shit. People are scared to buy stuff. Like show me a company that's down bad. God, this is crazy. Yeah, so all the buy indicators are on stocks that look like they're literally just mooning and continuing to never stop mooning. Let's get into now. This is where things get kind of juicy, right? They get juiced into neutral. You want to look at neutral to sell. I think these are the really good areas you want to look at for what? For liquidity to start to move towards. If you're looking for where liquidity will move next, it typically moves towards mid to strong sell. So neutral to strong sell is what you'd be looking for there. Meta right now is what? Meta is neutral up here. That's interesting. MasterCard neutral. Merck and Company, IBM. Whoa. Yeah, these look too high to be neutral. You got PLTR. That's why PLTR looks like it's okay. That looked toppy too. That makes sense. So your neutral markets are hesitating, trying to decide if they want to go higher. Shopify, is this one in it? Yes, they did make it. Look at this shit. Look at this. Right into that range. Right into that range. It's like a pocket. Right into it. And I even had this drawn out. Look at that. All right, DE. Deere and Company looks good. I like that one. Spot too high. UPS. That one's tricky. That one's tricky. I don't know about that one. I don't know about that. That is only too good. And keep in mind, this is me not knowing shit about half these companies, by the way. And you can see right here, Cloudflare is neutral, but I think this one's getting ready to pop off. NIM. Yeah, NIM looks good too. I like NIM. If you check it out right here. Now, I'm showing you guys this so you can use this yourself. That's why I'm showing this to you. I'm not showing this to you because I'm trying to necessarily show you what to buy next. I'm trying to show you how to utilize this. So now that you got the neutral, you kind of get where I'm going with this, right? You're looking for things that look more like NIM or maybe more on the downside, but you're not looking for anything like extremely mooning. Like Hood, right? Hood's neutral, but Hood is also extremely mooning. Roblox is at an interesting level. They kind of broke out and then broke back below the range, so they may end up kind of rolling back. CTVA. So I'm just kind of poking through this live with you all. Venture Global, that's going to zero. So yeah, that's the neutral market, and then you can get kind of into the nitty gritty with the heavy sell market, right? Where the market's saying we're going to sell off. Like this saying, what you should do with these is set your levels and set alarms. Set your levels and set alarms. If you set your levels to set alarms and it hits your level, buy. Doesn't hit your level, don't buy. It's really simple, right? Let me see. Actually, this one didn't look too bad. I looked at this the other day. Yeah, they had that big dip there. Let's say it kind of screwed up this whole trend. Yeah, this thing's pretty screwed. Honeywell looks like it's about to fall off. Looks like it's about to fall off. All this shit looks really, actually, it does look bearish. This stuff looks bearish. So maybe they're right on this. Usually you can come through here and kind of find a deal on the sell side, but this stuff looks looking pretty bad. Strong sell. Let's go to strong sell. Usually these are kind of where things get bottomed. Dang, look at that. Look at that. Bro. Talk about getting screwed. This looks like it's, yeah, I think it's going to roll. I had it breaking out this time because of so many touches, but it looks like they're going to roll this. All right. Yeah, I had this one right here kind of breaking down. Chevron. Oh, you know what's funny? This plays into the oil discussion. This plays directly into the oil discussion that I was just talking about a little bit ago. So that's funny. So because obviously if the price of oil comes down, gas comes down, gas stations will obviously their pricing will come down because they don't have as much leverage on gas at that point. They got to come down and compete with other gas stations. So if that occurs, that could bring these gas stations down in a heavy way. So you got to be careful. Here's what I'll tell you. Be careful with energy. Be careful with energy, right? Because if they bring the price of gas down, oil comes down, you're going to see energy collapse. The whole energy sector is going to come down pretty hard against that. So thermo, lows. I mean, this shit's playing right into this. Look. Literally had it cupping over here, but they just drove it out further. but it's going to come down. TT. Let's see. You guys can see I go through a lot of charts. This does look topped. This looks absolutely screwed. I want to find something that's like bottomed. That's a strong sell, because usually those are hard to find, but those are like really good indications of things to be buying. I mean, look at this stuff, man. Look at this. I don't even know when I made this chart. I don't even know when I made it, but damn, look at that. Look at that accuracy. Crazy. Boom, boom, boom. Roll. We're kind of hanging out at a support range, but could definitely come back down and retouch this one, right? Because this to me is like one big pennant if you look at it. We dragged this out. We dragged that out. You're looking at a massive pennant. This thing could roll all the way into this range. Let's see. VLO. Look, I already got energy ready to go. VLO, Valero Energy Corporation. Look at this. Again, I don't remember when I drew this. But yeah, looks like I already had energy ready to roll. And that's just, again, it's just more indication for me that I think oil is going to tank. And if I think US oil is going to tank, I think all these energy companies are going to get absolutely fucking tracked. Every one of them are going to get demoed. So if that becomes the case, the energy sector is about to get absolutely blown out. If that ends up becoming the case, you can see right here too, like you really look like you're topping. You really look like you're topping right here. Like you could get real close here. And you can see your roll here, right? Your roll back up. And then you can see this is one big roll. A lot of people don't really realize it because they look at this specifically, but this is actually like this, then a bottom, then a big roll, then a bottom, then a big roll, right? And the one thing you don't want to see from it, you want to see energy bounce here. You don't want to see it go like this, because then it's going to tank. That's what it would be. Hey, there you go, George. There you go, man. That's what I'm here to do, really. Is like, I know a lot of people find this shit boring. They're like, oh, you know, what you're doing isn't cool. You're not talking about meme coins and blah, 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 blah. I'm trying to teach people. Is what I'm truly trying to do. I'm trying to teach you all how to view this, right? You got to understand the manipulation. And then once you understand the manipulation, you can get good entries and good exits. That's the point. Some of the stuff is more of a long-term game. SPY is a long-term game. Nike is a long-term game for me. Some other plays I got into are for long-term gains. But if you're looking to truly trade, you have to understand what you're looking at. And you have to understand topping patterns, bottoming patterns, support and resistance. Like, these are key things that you have to understand. So I try to present you all with different charts so you can understand these different things. So moving back in, do I have anything else in here? Maybe, maybe not. That one seemed familiar, but I don't think I got a chart on that one. Oh, I got key. There it is. There it is. Look at that. Look at that. So far playing to a T. This to me is like, so this is a flagpole pennant pattern. It will break out eventually. I just don't know when. Down, up, down, up, down, maybe one more time, then up. That's a flag. So KeyBank, KeyCorp, for those wondering. Let's do some crypto, because this can get a little tricky too. And this is where a lot of people get kind of, no, let's not do that. Just go to crypto. All right, so now we're in the strong buy sector of crypto. What do you think this looks like? Never buy anything in the strong buy sector crypto. It says strong buy because the price manipulation that occurred on this fresh launch or something that was on the floor. Like everything in the strong buy area on crypto is already straight vertical. You don't want to buy into some shit like that. So what do you have to do here? You have to knock it down a couple pegs. You either come down to buy or neutral, right? You can also come down to sell or strong sell because you don't buy ever on the strong buy side. Never buy the strong buy. That is how you will get fucking wrecked in crypto. Yeah, well, not just that. It's also like a lot of this shit is it's all fake volume and bots and fucking market makers and dumb shit, right? Yeah, yeah. But you can see right here, like this one's like a buy, right? This one's a buy. This is a buy. So again, too fresh to really kind of look at. But I'm showing you how to do this on TradingView versus the fucking tools that everybody else is using that only a few people in the market probably ideally know how to use. And you got to understand what these are too. You got to look and see what they are. Like link perpetuals is obviously futures that don't fucking matter. You want to find things that are like against USDT, right? Like Monk. I think I was looking at was the Karate Combat earlier today, and that one was up pretty good. Crow USD right here in Kraken, right? Looks pretty good. Let's see. The problem is the pairing. The pairing, you want to make sure you get the right pairing because that's where they can get you. There's really no time on most of the stuff on here, man. It's really horrible. One day. Can I go higher? Yes. All right. So this is just how you can adjust things if you want to adjust them, Bollinger Bands, all that good stuff. Top gainers, top losers. You can add that in there. So this is a top gainer right here. So now you can go off of these. But as you can see, you don't want to buy into any of this shit from a top gainer perspective. Damn, Wojak jumped? Guess so. See, now this one right here, this doesn't look bad, right? This doesn't look bad because you actually have structure. You have time. This is on the monthly. You have structure down, breakout, come back, find the same support, break out again, might come down and wheedle down. I don't even know what this is. And then maybe something like that, right? We'll leave that there. We'll come back and visit that one. And that one's neutral, by the way. That one's neutral. It's not overly bullish, not overly bearish. And this is why the neutral market and lower is a little bit better on here. It'll give you better metrics than trying to use anything else other than that. So I would stick to, kind of more the neutral and lower and stay away from the other time frames. This one looks like it's going to fall off a cliff. It even says that. Strong sell. Titan USDT. I don't even know what this is. Rune, Satoshi Rune Titan. Okay. Against Tether. So let's go back into the moving averages. Let's switch this to neutral. See what we get there. Neutral is good. Neutral is sideways. Yep. First one on there is FOG. Right? Then you got what? You got TAU, Tau USDT, market neutral. Okay. I like it. Integral Tether. Look. This is what you want. I know a lot of people think it's not, but this is what you want. This is what you want. You don't want the other shit that's like up thousands of percent. I don't Max E. What the fuck is this? Somebody took Max's picture and put it on here. What's good? Look at this. Somebody took Max's picture and put it on here. This is wild. Okay. This is neutral. Wouldn't buy it because it's high. Elon Mars is neutral. XRP 2.0. Wow. Wow. Some of the shit I'm finding here is absolutely astonishing. Draco, Drac. This doesn't look too bad. Looks like it's holding that range. Doge 20, whatever that is. I like this one better because it's got a rounding bottom. Whatever that is, human USDT on gate. Interesting. I don't know what this is, but the bottoming pattern looks pretty good. Let me see what else we got here. That's too high. Nope. Nope. No. We'll skip that. Bitcoin Cash. Nah, we're good. BitTrue looks pretty good. Heavy volume in this range, which tells you somebody's bidding. So this is an interesting place to be. This neutral could become bullish. SMA 20 is saying buy. SMA 50 is saying sell. And then nothing on the SMA 200. Probably time span, not enough time. Only a few of these have the 200 scenario here. BitTrue. Hey, none of these have 200. That might be a good metric to be looking for too. See if things have a 200 metric or not. But yeah, so anyways, long story short, we're at an hour. Sorry for a little bit of the rambling that we've been doing tonight. A little bit tired. It's been a long day. But we kind of went through some different ways that you guys can look at this, utilize this, find different sectors, find things that you're looking for on the stock side, find things that look good on the crypto side. Again, stay at neutral or below. Do not go above neutral. Don't go to buy or strong buy. Stick to neutral and below. And if you're looking to kind of dig out some new plays, you can obviously come up here to the top of the list and be like, all right, what is this? Look it up, figure out what it is, see if it's something you want to invest into, if you want to look at it from that perspective in crypto. But I will tell you this, moving forward until we get price action movement, my strategy is to DCA down because I don't think we're going down that far. And I think that if we go down far at all, it will be short-lived. We discussed it earlier. I showed you guys the chart. I showed you how fast these things can move and how often we can be wrong a lot of the time on that subject. So for now, just, play cautiously, bid the fundamental plays, bid the stocks, avoid the noise of people thinking that they're going to get rich off being coin still. And then once we start to see some pickup in the market, I'll definitely indicate if I think it's time to kind of get back into risk. I think for now, it's better to play this safely and go with that, go with the flow on the safety front. And then once we kind of see that interest and that volume pick back up, we can get more into, trying to take on some risk. But for now, play it safe. DCA slow into the market, slow. That means don't put your whole paycheck. Don't expect massive returns tomorrow, next day, the next week, next month. Your thought process should be right now. I'll give it to you. Your thought process should be, I may have to wait 3 to 6 months to get a return. And if you don't have that thought process, if you need it faster than that, don't even put it in. Don't even put it in. Just sit on it. If you aren't in the process of being like, oh, I need to get a faster return, then in that scenario, you can DCA, you could sit, and you could settle with whatever you put into the market, and you shouldn't have any issues with drawdown or anything else. Because drawdown is a potential scenario here. I think right now, with the way Bitcoin looks pretty dang good. I'm still bullish on Bitcoin and where it's at right currently. I still like Ethereum. I still like Solana where they're sitting at currently. But the rest of the market, the risk side of the market looks like hell. And so you have to play this cautiously. You got to play it smart. We want to outplay the market. We don't want to be outplayed by the market. And the only way to do that is to not pretend we understand or know what the market's going to do, It's to be prepared for the potentials of what the market can do. And right now, the potentials with tariffs is, there's potential that we could see a flash crash if it does occur. And there's potential we may not see one at all. And if we don't see one at all, then you're not even going to be in the market when it runs. So I still think we're in a bull market. Structure wise, it indicates that. It shows that. I mean, if you think this is not a bullish structure, I don't know what to tell you. It's a higher low structure, bullish structure move to the upside. No real retraces, no real indications of any type of bearish market. Again, you got a 5-month high up here. You got 3 here, 3 here. All markets have ended in 2 or 3 months if you're going into a bear market. That's not what we currently have topped out at. And so I'm still bullish on what we're seeing currently. Moving forwards, again, I'll just continue to iterate what I've been telling you. And when I think that risk is more of a better play, I will indicate that also to you all and let you all know that that's kind of my thesis there. So I hope everybody enjoyed tonight's stream. If you all could do me a huge favor, it's kind of rough times right now. Not everyone wants to show up because everybody's upset because the market isn't moving. It hasn't really dumped, but it isn't moving. Your Marine Corps is dumped. And so everybody wants to be upset and they don't want to look. But if you could give me a like, and a comment and maybe a retweet if you're on Twitter, subscribe if you're on YouTube, that would be greatly appreciated. And I really appreciate everybody who does show up. I know it's not always easy to show up because at times I can be late, markets can be rough, so on and so forth. But I'll try to be here as much as I can for everybody. And again, thumbs up. Definitely like, subscribe if you're on Twitter and or YouTube. Retweet if you're on Twitter and comment. That would be greatly appreciated. Thank you all for showing up. I will see you all later on this week. We'll definitely be seeing each other Saturday, Sunday. Maybe we'll see each other again Friday. Right? We'll see if that plays out. If we can get enough likes and retweets and comments, maybe we'll make that happen. And obviously YouTube comments do always help. Appreciate all of you again. God is good. God is great. Everybody have a blessed day. I'll see you later.